Welcome back to The Good Talk, the show where we discuss what's hot, what's grot, and everything in between in the wide world of Warhammer. I'm joined today by the most handsome of the Titans, Mr. Bridger Hahn.
That's not true. Thank you.
You're definitely the most handsome.
That is a bold-faced lie, but I appreciate it, Adrian. I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you so much.
I am so excited to be here chatting about one of the things that Warhammer people love to chat about the most, which is things that are broken and unjust in the game. But today, we're saying goodbye to them. So what we have here today is an exploration of Warhammer's Most Wanted. Of course, we just played a fun game. Definitely check it out. Between Admech at arguably its strongest against Custodes, I think also arguably at their strongest.
At their weakest, Adrian. When that book came out, they were terrible.
Right? It was a really cool game, so check it out.
Definitely 2 of the top 10, I would say. Those make my top 10 for 9th of factions that were most broken at a given time. When we're going through our list, do we want to qualify anything on we are counting day 1 FAQs versus we're not counting day 1 FAQs. Like, do we want to make any clarifications, ground rules
that's
for this Most Wanted?
So, with one exception, which is a bit of a spoiler.
Contentious exception.
We are doing them basically as is after maybe the first, obvious typos are fixed, right?
Right.
This is not looking at what armies are or would be just out of the book. This is how they were actually played by real people and real humans in tournaments, right?
Yep.
So that is the case, and this is not ranked in any particular order.
Nope.
And I'm not even sure what order it's going to come up in, which is going to be kind of fun. But we are basically going to be talking about certain traits that these armies have, and maybe do they have anything in common or what have you, right?
Themes, perhaps. Yeah.
Perhaps. So let us know, of course, in chat, in the comments below, what you think, and maybe we can do some polling and have some fun with it. Of course, if you do have any questions, send in the super chats. If you have lists, send them in. We're going to talk about them right after this. Well, without further ado, let's see who's first up on the list. I think we saw a little sneak peek. Yep.
Bridger had a whole bit that you were supposed to do, but fine, okay.
No, that was the intro. That was should we do it now?
Yeah,
we were gonna silently. So imagine it's wipe.
Ooh, good talk.
It's the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? This is truly a collection of Wild West villains.
I was going to say, this is pretty much only bad and ugly at this point.
I'll come up with some. Custodes are good.
Actually, you know what is in common with a lot of spaghetti westerns is there's actually no good guys here.
Right.
Even the good guys have some serious
They're
issues.
gruff. They're
they're
tough.
right.
They're rough and tumble. I think that's fair to describe all these factions. These are rough around the edges, certainly.
Oh, these were just nuts. So of course we are starting off. I said there's no good guys, but this is the good guys here. The infamous Ork Freebooterz. So we're gonna take you down memory lane, and if you haven't played through any of this or lived through any of this, congratulations. But we're gonna kind of talk about it. It's always interesting to see where the rules have been. So the Freebooterz. This is when this was a little while after the Ork book came out. There weren't really additional rules that made it extra strong. Everyone just kind of amassed enough buggies and enough shooting to make this viable, and realized they didn't actually have to play most of the game. They could just shoot their opponent to death with lots of shots, right? So Speed Wall would give you extra AP. This didn't necessarily have to actually run like the Army of Renown or anything. I think that was actually a less strong build. But people were running Freebooterz, which is, of course, every kill you get another +1 to hit. It stacks infinitely. And
For your army.
for your whole army. Your whole army. So what are some things that were kind of part of this army, Bridger?
So I remember Copters shooting at a net +1, which is absurd.
Yep.
They would come down, they would shoot, and they would fly away, and they would have 2 squads.
Pretty good.
Because one of them would hang out, and you couldn't interact with it. So one was going back to space, and then one would get -1 to wound from a strat or something.
So you could do that. No, yeah. So if you were doing the Army of Renown, one was going to space, and one you'd be Evil Sons, so you could fire and fade. So one
That's
was
what it
on
is.
the table, and the other one would fly away. And this was actually, you could drop down, you could shoot, you could charge, you could fight, and then fly away.
It was obnoxious.
Very disgusting. So yeah, Copters for sure.
Yeah, a lot of buggies.
So many buggies.
Largely the indirect shooting buggies to proc Freebooters to get the rest of your army hitting. This was, of course, before the indirect nerfs.
Yep.
This was partially responsible for the indirect nerfs.
Yeah, 100%. This was disgusting.
It's gross.
These things could check out so many the profile was strength 5, AP 2 for 2, aka a profile that's pretty much good into anything, especially if you have enough volume. And one of those profiles, +1 to wound, with nitro squigs. So very killy, very shooty.
But what was cool, I will say, largely this list was dumb. Just to be around, just to be in the same room as. But what was cool was Ork Bikers ended up being in the list and OBSEC, which I thought was cool.
Yeah. Well,
if you were speed.
Is that true?
Mob. Speed wall. The Army of Renown gave Bikers.
Oh, that's true.
Because you couldn't take.
That's true.
Foot stuff.
Yeah, that was actually cool.
So that was cool. But you would also see planes for KFFs in the sky.
Planes. Yeah, you would see often. Yeah, two KFF or two of the mech jets. You would see the docket jets because they're just very cheap.
God, I forgot about that.
And so you had all these squid bugs ignore line of sight, and then you have airplanes which like basically ignore line of sight because they just fly behind you and shoot the heck out of you. The flyer was great because it starts at BS4, so you can actually go to BS3
because it's a grot gunner.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. So this just completely was a leaf blower list. Famously, of course, winning the SoCal Open, playing off against Sean Naden, who arguably one of the best players of all time, got absolutely destroyed by just sheer volume. So that's Freebooters. Let's take a look what we have next. We have a lot, by the way. So some of these have more feelings than others. Drukhari, Liquifier spam.
Is there an H in Drukhari?
Yeah. But
I believe it.
I always add an extra I.
I believe it.
It's
Drukhari. Okay.
I think there's an H.
Because Druki also has an H.
Well, there you go. Checks out.
Anyway.
So Liquifiers, this was actually a specific custom coven. No.
You're right. It was a custom.
It was a coven.
This was like they were just trying out custom chapter tactics and then realized the stupidity that they had wrought upon the world.
It was so crazy. So you could take these flamers, these Liquifiers, and you would overcharge them. So they were +1 to wound, +1 damage. And you could take 2 in a squad of racks. And you can take 2 squads of racks in a raider. So you're flying around
with 4 of these stupid things with +1 to wound. Not like you would expect a chapter tactic to maybe be +1 AP.
Sure.
On a specific gun, right? That would be pretty good. +1 AP on a specific gun. No, they were like, hey, this faction that has a gun, Coven have a gun other than pistols. This is it. This is their one. This right here, this is their one gun other than pistols. They were like, yeah, we'll just make a faction around that. Well, how do you make that good? Because like they can't get that many of them.
Right.
I don't know, +1 to wound?
Let them overcharge it.
Is that good enough?
Well, it's like...
It's overcharged, but it's overcharged on wounds if you roll a wound roll of 1.
Correct, yeah.
Which is less dice. Well, I guess because it's flamers, right? It has to be... It can't be hits because it's flamer?
Yeah, but still.
But then there were people who were playing it like you're in a raider, you can't die.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of...
That was like a whole thing. They were like, yeah, I could die because I'm in a raid. And then you could also take them on Talos, which we're showing here.
Chronos.
So you would just... Chronos. So you would just spam like 14 of these things. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, like 14 flamers. How good could 14 flamers be? Well, 14 2 damage +1 wound flamers that are on melee absurdly strong bodies with invulns that are good enough on their own in combat and objective holding.
You have a lot of OBSEC. You put them in boats, which are open tops. You first have to get through the boat, which, by the way, is going to have a 5+ invuln. Can be -1 to hit. And then when you kill it, you have 2 separate OBSEC squads that get out probably on either side of a wall. So it's very tough to get into. I'd say this one was very strong, but in some ways less egregious than even like the Freebooters we just saw.
Yes.
This, I would say, is up there, but it's not like one of the most egregious. But it was very powerful.
It never even got its time to dominate the meta. Yeah. Because it was in a book that had so many options, people were exploring all the options. Drukhari was just a great book. Like everything in the book was strong, which is why it took so long. We forget, it's been a long time. But it took forever to get Drukhari to where they are now.
Yeah.
They got nerfed like 8 consecutive times.
It was nuts. It took over a year.
So many nerfs. Yeah.
Yeah, over a year for sure.
But this was like a standout. This is just obviously busted and stupid. So that's why it made the list.
Absolutely. Ah, yes. So we just played this. Now there are a few variations on it. There are the launch Admech, which I want a little GT here with some overpowered goodness, where it would run just. This was 420 blocks at the time because you didn't have the Skitarii cohort.
Yep.
And again, impressive shooting, very tough to kill, surprisingly fast with all the different doctrinas, imperatives. Lucius was the thing to run at the time because then you could get extra armor save against damage 1, which, again, this is what everyone was doing at the time. Lots of
The mirror match, yeah.
Later on, once you introduce this Katari Kuhar, you would also have the addition of like several bricks of these really nasty Ruststalkers or even infiltrators that could now have access to advance and charge, do mortal wounds, and just kind of solve the problems that the army even remotely had. Unnerfed Admech was basically so you have you got a snake problem, right? And to deal with the snake, you have to get some raccoons.
A mongoose. You gotta get a mongoose in there.
And now you have a mongoose problem.
Yeah.
So the Admech came in, they definitely bullied the Drukhari. Especially as people weren't quite familiar how to fight the Admech with Drukhari. That definitely was the thing. But now you have an Admech problem. Yep. And as you discussed, frankly, the Drukhari also adapted. And then there was this really interesting arms race between the two, where it was Drukhari, definitely the best, super, super strong, boats and all that stuff. Admech come out very, very strong shooting them. And then the Kronos
Liquifier spam
came out, and that actually ended up pushing just a little bit ahead. But it was them kind of doing this arms race for several months. Very fun.
Even Admech against itself had an arms race.
Yes.
In the mirror match, the reason there's so much melee and Alpha Strike in the Admech list that we played today was that Admech had fought against itself so much in events that the way to beat I basically ignore your shooting and I shoot a lot is to charge them. So they figured out how to kill themselves with charging.
Yeah.
Well, if I turn one charge I win?
Right.
You can't get out of your deployment zone and I hold the objectives and I win?
Oh, it was so...
it got ridiculous.
And even within that, it was I remember even at the Hammerhead event, I was so worried about Jake, our friend Jake, who was bringing Admech, and he had a very different approach where I had some more Iron Striders and I had a Priest in a boat as sort of tech, and he was doing the Flyers. Now the Flyers
talked about the Flyers.
If the Flyers go first, very strong, because they can get in, they can pop my key things, take out my Ballistari. Yeah. It pretty much wins the game. If you go second, though, my armies it just instantly killed the planes. Yeah. So it was this really, really stressful kind of roll off just to go first. In this kind of internal arms race of which list are you trying to tech against, even within your own army.
This era was peak 9th edition. If something is in the open, it dies. Because there was just rampant shooting. So everybody was moving to these Flyers to get around buildings, to get the Alpha Strike, but then it just became, did you go first? Because if both of you have planes to ignore all the buildings, and both of you can shoot the other person's planes out of the sky, and the planes just go behind the buildings and kill all the infantry, it's just who goes first.
Oh, it's so... Which kind of comes to the head again 6 months later at SoCal Open, where it's Admech and Orks. And literally, you have to go first or you lose.
Yep.
So,
it was wild times.
There's another monster for y'all. Ah, here we go.
The opposite meta.
Now, I liked this army. This was a fun army to play.
This one got you.
Yeah.
I like the flavor of the army.
That's right.
It was a little overtuned, though.
So overtuned.
And I say that, I know we're talking about big bads and but this is a faction or an army that we have wanted to see on the table for so long. Until Crusher Stampede came out, Tyranid big monsters were bad for I don't want to say a decade, but a really long time.
Yeah.
There were only niche applications of big monsters in Tyranids. So when Crusher Stampede came out and we were like, oh my god, Carnifexes, have you seen how good they are?
Right.
It was dust off your Carnifexes. They're going to be under probably a foot of dust, but dust them off, get them on the table. We're so excited to see it. It was just a little overtuned, and then they pulled back on it in the Codex, and I think Tyranids ended up in a great spot as soon as their Codex came out.
I mean, it's funny that I'll be honest, are not on the list today, but launch Codex Tyranids were also
yes, they did need some FAQs. You're right. They did need some
really
FAQs.
Strong, but in a different way.
In a different...
And this was a classic example of I think you're 100% right, overtuning and not thinking about niche cases, corner cases, or forge roll cases. If you played this list with Carnifexes, would it be good? Yes. Would it be busted? No, actually. It was the Demachirons, it was the Harpies, it was the Hierodules.
Hierodule, yeah.
Those things were all just...
Yeah.
And it is hard because you look at this list, objective secured monsters, durable, fast, several melee threats. Those don't sound like busted things. And this is if not the only melee heavy army on this list.
Right. It was a lot of wounds in a -1 damage, 4-up invuln body that kills everything it touches and shoots pretty well. And that was like, it was an army of those.
And you had OBSEC.
As didn't count as, was it really that ridiculous? It was your what were they?
It was something crazy like that.
What were they thinking?
It was just nuts. Super fun.
It was fun. This was a good time.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
Launch Tau.
Ooh. Tau weren't even on my radar.
Well, this is when...
I know that when they came out, they were busted.
Yeah.
But they don't... Like, when you're looking... we're looking out at the ocean, and there's some big waves and some small waves. And, like, Tau, in their area, they're a big wave. And then you look at the greater horizon, and you're like, I'll ride that wave. I'll ride that one out. Right. That one's okay. Because the meta they were in was much healthier, and there were things that could kind of deal with them.
Oh, you would say that. Because this was... Tau only rose to power once Custodes got nerfed.
Yeah.
Because Tau and Custodes did exist in this sort of same space for a little while.
Yep.
The Tau just couldn't hang. Like, what did Tau love to do? Kill single targets.
And with rerolls.
With rerolls. And what do Custodes love to do?
Nope.
Stop that.
Nope.
But then, so they existed, and then Custodes got hurt very, very badly.
Yep. There was a tectonic shift.
Some would say they never recovered.
Yeah.
We should do like a masterclass on this, Bridger.
We should, yeah.
History of Warhammer, and like, anyways. But I do agree. I think they're a smaller wave than many of these other ones.
Right. This was like towards the end of GW releasing books that were clearly designed to just crush the thing that came before it.
Yeah.
Like there were, and I'm not saying this is intentional. A lot of people have crazy conspiracy theories about, like, GW just builds books to beat the last book to sell models. That's not what they're doing. All good game design, every iteration has something that hedges against the previous thing. Just in case you screwed up on the previous thing, you have some answers built in, and you'll see this in every game. It's not to sell stuff, it's to cover for your possible mistakes on the last thing, because you don't get a chance to review the last thing before you make the next thing. Anyway. This was like towards the end of GW releasing books that were just absurd, where it would make such a big splash, people would only play that. So Tau was like, fine, right? They shot a lot. It was a lot of indirect.
It was fine.
The indirect was what made it oppressive.
Yeah, the indirect, and there was some Farsight abuse, which I still didn't appreciate.
Where they like...
They're like, Farsight you can't have...
But then you got an ethereal through some shenanigans?
Exactly, you can't have ethereal. But they're like, oh, well, actually, I'm a...
Farsight... there's
successor.
They were like a Farsight successor.
Where you pick, where it's like pick an existing one and you count as being a successor. You're not them, but you use their rules, and so it's like, oh, well, then I can have an ethereal. You're like, cool. Look, I've clearly run some pretty messed up lists in my time, but I didn't do that. So, however, there was one more shark waiting around the corner that I think was, I would agree, probably the last truly game-breaking one. Yeah. If this is in the order that I think it is. Boom, there it is.
Oh. This is your, okay.
The Voidweaver Harlequins?
No, it's just the...
Oh, the picture?
No, there's another V faction that was also a book that was on release just hilariously broken. That's the next one.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. But I have thoughts.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why this is the last one and not that one.
Okay.
The Voidweaver Harlequins were just disgusting. Like, we saw... Remember that Adepticon, two Voidweaver spam armies of Harlequins, barely painted, missing many
Often
guns.
Not really painted at all.
Not really painted at all.
And not even the right models.
Yeah. And it just, they, again, turned off rerolls. They hit like an absolute truck. They were absurdly undercosted for what they did.
Yep.
And the Harlequins still had great secondaries, but you didn't really need it with this kind of list. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
It did all these things: impressive shooting, durability, fast, the move, which we've seen with just a couple things. Again, we're seeing these kind of hallmarks of these broken lists, and this was the last one that would see a true tournament, I think.
Right. This was the last one to see a tournament. Yeah.
But we do talk about Votann.
And Harlequins also went through the same thing that Admech did, where it became dominant. people started with 9 Voidweavers, and then as they saw themselves playing Harlequins over and over again, and the Voidweavers being less good in the mirror match, they started to pull back on the stupidity of 9 Voidweavers, and they were like, okay, well, what if I have more troops and boats, and then I can hold objectives more, and Voidweavers aren't great at killing troops, because, like, it's so many points to kill a troop.
Yeah, it's not
like,
worth it.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
So we started to see some sort of rational thinking pull back on Harlequins, but then Voidweavers got their points adjusted and the whole faction disappeared.
Exactly. Look, I'm definitely not going to say it's better, but at the time, I ran some Voidweavers, but also a big block of troops, because you know what the troops can do is they can ignore invulns. So if you manage to deliver them in to the Voidweavers or bikes or whatever,
Pick up the whole squad.
Get in there.
Pick it all up.
Exactly what you're saying, right? So, but this was also much like the Drukhari book in the sense that it was nerf after nerf after nerf, and even only now, only after having their invuln reduced by 1, did they finally take the hit and take the plunge to like.
Did they also get point drops interspersed though? I feel like on release troops cost an amount, and then when troops were absolutely dominant, light troops.
No, this army actually saw almost no points changes except for characters and the tanks. But the troops actually haven't changed at all, which is, I think they're scared to do that because it is their main line.
Right.
It's like there's only 5 units in this army.
Right. Yeah.
So, man, it's Harlequins.
Yeah. We're going back in time.
A little out of order.
Going back in time.
I accidentally made this in order, apparently. You want to talk about Custodes?
I mean, they were released and they were bad. And I think everybody agreed that they were bad. And then they won all the events. And we were confused.
People forget. Because you weren't the only one to say they were bad.
No, like the whole internet, like I was the figurehead, and I'll take it. I'll take the blame. Look, I said they were bad, I stand by it.
Yeah.
If you take the Virtus Praetor out of that book, it's unplayable. Launch Custodes, hot garbage without Virtus Praetors. But these smart guys at Art of War were like, wait, hold on a minute. And then they punched it into their calculator and they were like, this is the most efficient unit in the whole game. I'm gonna run 3x3. And it crushed. And it crushed at a time where you needed all the things that it did well.
To fight Crush or Stampede.
To fight Crush or Stampede. The other menace, the other dominant force in the meta. And nothing else could stand up. Both of those were just a wall of stats.
This was a really, really fun matchup.
It was cool.
And if we hadn't already played it several times on the channel, I would have wanted to do this today. Because it was really close and funny.
Yeah. And I played it a bunch, and it was great.
Yeah.
The thing that I think catapulted Custodes even further into greatness was everything that was good against Tyranids was the thing that Custodes literally turned off. They were like, okay, well, you have a high strength. Nope. You have rerolls. Nope. You're gonna, nope. And then I'm gonna intervene, and then nope. Oh, I'm better than you in combat, and I'm also better than you at shooting. And I'm super reliable, and I don't really care about any of your rules. I just have a nope shield, and it costs me 1 to 2 CP a turn, and I have regen, and we all have 1,000 CP. So like, I'll just do whatever I want.
And you need these single big hits, which the new book, even more than the previous book, was better suited at doing. Emperor's Chosen were big because you get the extra reroll for that efficiency, even on things that don't normally have rerolls, like Caladius actually saw play. And the 4-up against Mortals was also important because that's something that Crusher Stampede was famous for.
So many Mortals.
And would just obliterate Custodes.
Yeah.
So, to be fair, or to be clear, launch Custodes, we're talking about Emperor's Chosen.
With Virtus Praetors. There was like a build.
Yeah. And Dreadnoughts. You know.
Virtus Praetors and Dreadnoughts, yeah. It was good stuff, Custodes, but if you take the Praetors out of it, the list actually just falls apart.
Yeah.
Because it needs the shooting to keep your anti-elite or your anti-tank guns hidden. Yeah. If you get free reign, the 2 strats actually don't do much because they shoot one thing, and I played this into Tau. I played this into Tau, and this came up a lot. You shoot one thing, you pop the strats, okay, cool, the rest of my army kills another unit.
Yep.
And you only have 3 units, so like, good luck, dude. Yeah. A lot of interesting dynamics and matchups, but it was just a product of its time.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what else is on this list. Here it is. Now, we should be clear.
Yeah.
This is the monster that never was, right?
That's true.
Because the way that the book was written was completely busted, and it didn't even... This is good on GW, honestly, for recognizing and acknowledging their mistakes. They nerfed it literally before, I think anyone. I think maybe we could have and kind of did play,
We
but we just had the starter box.
did play it because we played it before the book came out and the day 1 patch wasn't out.
Yeah. Basically, what this consisted of was a really cheap book. You could take everything in the army. Was nuts. And frankly, that was probably the #1 thing. But on top of that, of course, you had the madness of the judgment tokens, and
The strats, the Ion strat, they got nerfed day 1.
yeah,
Was stupid. It was like point your 100-point infantry squad, your basic troops at anything in the game. Okay, that's dead.
Yeah.
Also, your 100-point infantry squad, weirdly good at fighting and durable. Don't know why.
We were trying to figure out like how do you. We were like, you need 30 berserkers because you could do that and still have all the shooting. It was just nuts.
It was crazy.
It was just so absurdly strong. So huge points hikes, which I think went a long, long, long way.
Yep.
And then a couple, changes to strats and the judgment tokens, and the Votann were still strong, but not the monster that we never actually had to fight.
It's impressive how quickly, like, you can see through the phases of 9th how fast GW was at fixing broken factions. Some factions took a very long time, and those were generally the earlier factions. They didn't have the reps in on their review process.
Yeah.
Towards the end, Votann had like 5 totally different broken builds on launch that leaned into totally different strategies and were all absurdly broken. Yeah. And within like a month and a half, they were all in line. Yeah. Right? That they like found all the things. Where Drukhari, they were playing whack-a-mole. They were like, okay, we'll nerf that thing. Okay, now we'll nerf this thing. Oh, this is a problem? Okay, we'll nerf that.
Yeah.
Okay, now this thing. And then they just kept, like, they couldn't figure out, they couldn't see past the one nerf they were putting in. But Votann, they nailed it. They were like...
Right away.
All of it. This is all way too cheap. This Ion strat is stupid. These combos with these characters are dumb. And they left some of it in.
Yeah.
Largely by fixing core fundamental rules of the army that were dumb. But, I don't know. I think they ended up in a good place.
I think they did, honestly. Yeah.
Is that the end of the good, the bad, and the ugly?
That is the end of Warhammer's Most Wanted.
Wow, we played a lot of Warhammer.
We played a lot. This has been a fun edition.
Yeah.
These are of course like the darkest moments of it, which is a weird thing to celebrate.
It was a weird, yeah.
But it's kind of fun, you know.
I was a little hesitant because I was like, we're just talking about all the most obnoxious things. Like, why are we taking this as a?
It's like the recap episode in between this, like at the end of the season. Or it's the reunion episode.
The reunion episode.
This is definitely the reunion episode.
Yeah, but only the bad parts.
Right. When you do that, you don't air like the.
You kind of do that.
Yeah, in reality shows, they're like, oh,
all
these
the dramatic moments.
Fought.
Okay.
Let's rewatch the fight. And
no, you're right.
Live drama.
But that's like the salacious. That's people.
That's what we are.
I guess people do get excited about.
That's what we are. No, I was kidding. But these are the things that we as a community discussed and had to work our ways around. So like these are the villains, and some of us played the villains, and everyone else had to kind of figure ways around it at every given time. So whether or not we like these armies, they definitely shaped the way that we had to play the game.
Now, it's notable.
Yeah.
This only goes up to new codexes. We didn't continue. I don't know if this was intentional on your. Was this like an editorial decision? We didn't continue into like scoring Necrons and scoring Sisters.
Oh yeah.
When all the factions got changed,
right?
And their faction secondaries got changed.
Yeah. So I think Necrons is the only one I truly would have been interested in including because they were so dominant for a small period of time. The Sisters, while very, very strong, I think flew under the radar. We didn't have everyone teching towards Sisters and complaining about Sisters and dealing with Sisters.
I hated them forever.
Me too. Yeah.
Put my hand up. That faction has
Even
scarred
now,
me.
I think they're stronger than people think they are.
I hate that.
You know?
Okay.
Well, you had to go through your whole
We're not
phase.
the same. We're not the same, Adrian. You think Sisters are strong and you like them.
Well,
I think Sisters are strong and I hate them. I want this faction to be removed from the game. It's unfair. Every time I play against them, they're like, yeah, well, everything you do, but I'm better, though. Like, I'm better than you at everything.
Sounds like they're just more Custodes than you.
They are, and it's not fair. I pay so many points for my models, and they pay like 8 points for a Sister who just launches across the board and is triple obsec and also has 100 attacks at strength 12.
Yeah.
Sisters are unfair.
No problem.
GW removed Sisters from the game. So stupid.
But if your name isn't Bridger, they weren't They weren't truly defining the meta at any given moment.
They were the only thing that had a chance against Necrons.
No. Let's see. Peak Necrons. So this was Nova, right? Yeah, Nova.
Mm-hmm. It was Sisters and Necrons.
Yeah, I guess Sisters.
That was it.
Pretty good.
Because they both had busted secondaries. Necron secondaries were more busted, but Sisters had everything else stupid about them.
Yeah.
Necrons could only score, and they were just like, just stay away until I'm done scoring, and if I score for 3 turns, you lose.
Yeah.
And Sisters were like, I'm scoring no matter what, and I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
That was the matchup.
The thing that kept Sisters back was they did have bad matchups, whereas Necrons didn't have bad matchups.
Well, because Necrons just, if they're alive for 3 turns, they get all 100 points.
Exactly.
Which was
It's just atrocious.
an anomaly within this list. Most of the armies that we talked about were just oppressive shooting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Tyranids were oppressive combat and durability.
Mm-hmm.
And then Necrons and Sisters were oppressive scoring, which is something you don't see often.
No, you don't. You really don't. And I'm more okay with it. Because at least your opponent can play the game.
It was more boring to me, though.
Yes, that's for sure.
Like, it's less obnoxious, but it's less exciting. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, all the models are still on the table, but I guess I've lost already? Okay, we can be done.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's just such a lame way to end a game of Warhammer.
But at
like,
least you get to roll your dice.
like nothing died, and then, oh, I lost. Okay.
Yeah. So you'd rather lose rather lose bottom of turn 1 to freebooted orcs?
Yeah, because then I walk away. I'm done.
Yeah, I guess when
Sometimes
Warhammer's bad, you'd rather just be done.
There were a couple of times where I was held hostage, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I have 3 models. I guess I have to, you have to kill 1 a turn to get all your points. I guess I'm
that's
here.
horrible.
Guess I'm here for another 40 minutes. Cool. Okay.
No.
I mean, but it happens. Like they're just playing the game.
Yeah.
I could have conceded.
Yeah.
I chose not to. That's on me.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, let us know in the comments and chat what y'all think. Genuinely has been fun, but it's also fun to ruminate.
Yeah.
With that, let's dive on and take a look at Sam's super chats.
Do that.
Ooh, that's a cool
that
one.
was good.
Thank you, Slogan. Bridger, would you say Custodes are looking safe going into 10th? I'm going to play them regardless, but they will be my first army. Fights for days.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Answer to the question, it's too early for me to tell you. I think before we saw the transport changes, or the transport rules, I would have said 100% yes, go Custodes. Still too early to tell for sure, but I think Custodes were going to be a safe bet. But then I got it in my head that this is going to be a mechanized edition.
Yeah, that is.
And Custodes don't have vehicles. Well, we have a Land Raider, actually. Hold on.
Oh ho!
We do have a
With an assault raider.
we do have a golden Land Raider. Maybe they'll be fine. I was gonna say we don't have transports outside of Forge World, and those are bad.
Right now they are.
They don't want them to be good. Like if the Orion dropship is good, people will rage quit the game.
Yeah.
That thing is obnoxious. Maybe we'll be okay. I'm pretty sure this will be a mechanized edition, just looking at the rules that we've seen so far. And I think Land Raiders are going to be strong. So maybe we'll see golden Land Raiders, something we haven't seen in eons.
You got to get a Land Raider, man.
I have 2 in the closet, painted random colors that I bought on eBay.
Oh, get a can of gold. Cool.
Yeah, you can just put gold on anything.
Easy peasy.
Put gold on a rhino. It's mine now.
I love gold.
Have fun. Slow can't? How did you say that?
Thank you.
Slogan.
Thank you.
They corrected my pronunciation. Thank you, Evan Tumanello. Hey, Titans. A buddy of mine fields 2 Castellan robots with his Admech. They're super tough. They survive every game. Do you have any advice on how to deal with them with Tau or Necrons?
Oh, I have a Tau answer. I don't have a Necron answer.
You want to do Tau answer?
Yeah, railgun. You shoot it with a railgun.
Yeah, that's true. It's very true.
And if you shoot it with long strike, that's just a bigger, better railgun.
I was really curious where you were going with that. Even better.
It's a vehicle, so he gets +1 wound. He's gonna mess it up. He's gonna chop it.
The tough thing is like not getting killed in return, because it's Admech.
But it's like late 9th edition Admech. What are they gonna shoot you with Balistari? Shoot those first,
Oh, okay.
and then back up with your railgun.
Yeah,
and shoot the robot.
I actually do concur. Yeah, you gotta prioritize, right?
Yeah.
Kill things that can kill you, then you'll deal with those. later on. I think they're pretty good against volume. If you can get some plasma or some fusion on like a crisis team, and then you can strike and fade, I think that's a pretty good bet.
Crisis can kill anything, man.
Crisis can kill everything, especially then, since Admech can't turn off rerolls. If you are able to get close, Moncala close, you can get some rerolls there. Necrons, that is actually tougher.
That's a tough one. Necrons don't really have anti-tank weapons.
They don't have good ones.
That aren't ludicrously expensive or unreliable. Which I guess is part of their faction identity. Like,
being bad.
Looking back through the ages, like, when's the last time Necrons had a reliable anti-tank gun?
When they had the 7th edition.
Right. With the pylon?
The pylon, yeah.
Yeah, which shouldn't be in any games of Warhammer, so
Yeah, this is heavy Locust Destroyers.
Oh!
That's pretty good. It's actually a little bit of an awkward profile because 2 wounds through probably overkills 1 robot, but
oh, you're going
heavy Locust, so 3d3.
Which is the 3d3 damage, but you get 1 shot per model.
Yeah, so you take like a squad of 3. Or no, yeah, a squad of 3. I'm sticking with it.
I would just put them in Locust Destroyer squads.
I just don't like them.
Because you put the squad somewhere else. I guess Admech, there's plenty of stuff that Locust Destroyers can shoot.
Yeah.
And then your 1 heavy destroyer goes into the robots. And then you kill him first when the squad gets shot. You pull that guy first.
But he doesn't even kill it. It's one shot at 3d3.
Yeah.
But it's an average of 6 damage, which doesn't even kill one.
Oh, they have 8 wounds
They
now?
have
I think they have 8 wounds. Castellan robots?
Oh, no. No, they are 6. It's T7 at 6 wounds.
They used to be 6 wounds. I think they're 8 wounds.
They're 8 wounds?
I think they have a ton of wounds, but they cost a lot too.
Well, he's certainly not killing 2.
It's an awkward amount. Like 8 wound models is weird to put 3 guys into.
Right.
Because you're going to kill 1 and then put like 4 damage on the next one.
Yeah, it's
like,
awkward.
Why did I do that?
It's super awkward.
Yeah.
And the regular Locust Destroyers are not good because they're low strength.
Strength 6 AP 2 damage?
Yeah.
But then you can full rerolls?
D3 damage.
Oh, they are.
They're still D3. Why do they do that? Yeah, you get rerolls to wound, and you can get basically rerolls to hit.
Because you can My Will Be Done and then reroll 1s from...
Well, you could take a regular Lord.
Just from Hatred.
Or, oh yeah, that's right.
Hardwired for Hatred.
Maybe it is Locust Destroyers with a heavy.
I feel bad recommending that, but like maybe?
Well, I think we can agree on the fact that there is no good option for Necrons here.
I'm okay.
Even a Catan's like not great, to be honest.
Well, Catan in combat will pick up the whole squad.
Okay.
Like between the power,
Nightbringer's D6 damage.
between the psychic power, the not psychic power,
Yeah.
and the chops, because you don't get your invuln, and they don't get innate 1-up armor anymore,
No, just a 2-up.
right? And your AP 5, because the Nightbringer's dumb.
I think 4. But yeah. But then you're D6 damage.
Yeah, just don't roll bad.
You need 3 through to kill 1.
No, you need 2 to go through to kill 1.
If they're
they're 8 wounds.
if they're 8 wounds, it's awkward.
Why do they have 8
And you're not going to roll average.
But you chipped 1 with your psychic power,
Yeah.
and then you chop through the first one in two swings.
Ooh, what if you're a Void Dragon?
Oh, Void Dragon's actually the perfect. Did you read chat for that? Where did you get Void Dragon? That's the perfect answer. You read chat for that. Somebody in chat said Void Dragon. That thing hates vehicles.
Definitely. You have to deliver it without it dying, but yeah,
Admech have 1 phase. It's gonna get there. The Void Dragon was built to kill Admech. How did we not think of this? Void Dragon kills. It's a Void Dragon.
Yeah, Void Dragon.
He'll pick up a whole squad.
Good luck, Evan. A whole squad?
I think he
No,
will.
we're moving on. I'm not going to argue with you on that.
Thank you, Pomo.
Hey.
List review. I believe in you.
Let's do it. This is Custodes, so you're going to read it.
Okay. 3 grav tanks. He says AT. I believe he means the twin heavy Magna Blaze Cannon. That's what it's called. AT anti-tank.
Oh.
3 spear dreads. Those are called Achilles. We said that a lot today. 3 melted dreads. Those are the normal contemptors, the plastic kit.
Oh.
1/3 Shield Guard, 1/5 Voidsman at Arms, a model I refuse to play. A Banner Magnifica with... We'll come back to that. Terminator Captain with Spear, Obliterator, and Call of the Imperium. COTI. Come back to that too. We'll circle back. GW Terrain, Secondaries, Stand Vigil. Okay, that's the kill at least one thing and don't lose a single Custodes in a battle round.
So scary.
For like 4 points, some laughably small amount. RBH. Really big hunter.
Raise the banner tie.
Okay. Not consistent. Like, that's going to be mission dependent. I wouldn't list that as one of your always takes. And then BID. Behind enemy lines.
Champion of the Imperium.
Oh, okay. But the third secondary...
Oh, against Imperial Knights. So it sounds like they actually know the mission, because they know the layout, they know the terrain, they know the opponent is an Imperial Knights. Bring it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, which checks out.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts.
Okay, give us your
I
thoughts.
have many thoughts.
Give us your wisdom. A wise one.
I have so many thoughts right now.
Oh, yes. Tell
You
us.
don't have Trajan, and I think the reason you don't have Trajan is you think grav tanks aren't core, why would I have Trajan? Wrong. Trajan's literally always good. He went up in points way back when because he was busted then, and he's actually still busted with his new points. He's just really good. Trajan's just always good. He can go toe-to-toe with a knight, and that's not an exaggeration. He will fight a knight until the knight dies. I like the Achilles, particularly against knights. Strength 14, pretty good.
Yeah.
But, however, I will say, Telamon, strength 16, with his Rock'em Sock'em robot arms.
Oh, I like that you're recommending a Telamon.
So you can get, and I'm not going to say Telamons are generally better than Achilles, because I think that's wrong. I think Achilles are generally better, but if you know you're going against knights, you could take a double fist Telamon and deep strike him and just punch a knight into not existing anymore. You give him a Paternal Penitent for an extra attack and then 2 attacks with the fists, and they're 4 damage each. They're like AP 4.
That's fun.
So unless the knight has 2-up armor or an invuln in combat, the knight's taking a lot of damage. And it's just annoying for them to deal with. Is T8 4-up invuln with a 6-up Film Pain.
That's cool.
It's just a weird breakpoint for knights to deal with. They're 2 damage weaponry because he's -1 damage.
Yep.
Terrible. They're anti-tank, not great because the 4-up invuln. Like, it's just obnoxious for them to deal with. 3 Melted Dreads I love. We're really tailoring our list here, but it's also... Melted Dreads get taken now in Custodes. Because they're just good stats. Like, they're fine. I'm assuming you are Emperor's Chosen. Because everything here is like a bunch of small squads. So you get those rerolls.
With big shots, yeah.
God, you're going to table this guy in like 2 turns. Why are you so mean to this Knights player? He's just trying to play Knights, man.
You got it.
I wouldn't go Stand Vigil even against Knights, though.
No, yeah. Even grind.
I think, yeah, legitimately grind is going to be more consistent against Knights than Stand Vigil. You can't lose a single Custodes unit in a battle round to score Stand Vigil.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Like, you're going to lose something, bro.
Yeah, it's not worth it. So something else for that category.
Swap that for grind. Or...
They say trying to use same list in Death Watch. Yes, Emperor's Chosen.
Cool.
Death Watch.
Okay, yeah. So the list is basically, the list is set. Going against Knights and then going against Death Watch. You could do Engage.
It's tough.
I mean,
you have so few game pieces, and you need them to be in places that are not related to move. Like,
you can't actually take grind against Knights.
Yeah, you can.
Kill
If a knight is getting like 2 kills against you,
no, only need to do is get 1.
You're gonna kill more than 1 knight. They're gonna have baby knights.
Will they? Yeah, I guess they will.
Nobody's running just big knights anymore.
I know. Sorry, I was just
you'll
playing.
grind against knights.
I was just playing Time Warp game.
I think if you don't get grind against knights, you probably already lost, right? Like you take grind.
Yeah, I just do the math on number of turns in the game.
Right. You're like, how can I not
me.
get this, right? The Stand Vigil you could easily not get every turn.
Yeah.
Like, they'll pick off your Voidsman with indirect missiles.
Yeah.
That's a turn. Oh, but those aren't Custodes. Sorry.
Oh, there's the secret tech.
There's the
you're
tech.
You're gonna lose.
You're gonna lose something. You'll lose a Dreadnought a turn. They have a ton of knights. You're gonna lose
secondary
something.
has to at least be granting 5 points to be even remotely worth it.
Yeah.
And that's still asking for it. Well, have fun.
This is if you're taking this also against Deathwatch, you've teched way too much against knights. This list is like just trying to kill knights.
Yeah.
This list might struggle against Deathwatch.
I can't. Some of the stuff definitely.
The grav tanks, the Caladius with Magna blaze cannons.
Yeah, that's true. No, but isn't there a separate? There's not like another profile for it.
Yeah, it's not good. Oh no. The Magna blaze cannon.
One that only has one profile.
It's one shot per gun. So it's 2 shots at like 1,000 damage.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe there's a low beam profile. And it's 2 damage.
Yeah, one of the turrets for the grav tank has 2 profiles.
That's got to be because the
That's this one?
the accelerator cannon just has 1. It's just a
Okay.
lot of shots.
So yeah, so it has a flex profile. I actually just played against it.
It's not good though. The flex you take this for 3 plus D3 damage.
Sure, but sometimes you don't need 3 plus D3 damage. You have an A option.
We could go back and forth forever, Mel.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's your call, Mel. If you want to cut us, you cut us off.
Thank you, Fate Stay Dreamer.
Hey.
Hey, TTT, love this. Such a great way to end an edition.
Aw.
I'm really excited for 10th. Now that we have some time to let things soak in, what are things you are excited about for 10th?
I'm excited to just learn everything again.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's all new. We're not going to know anything.
The first month is going to be the best part. Well, I mean, okay. Let me modify that. That's not a good blurb. The first month of an edition, you're a kid again.
Yeah.
You don't know how anything works.
Yeah.
You're just filled with wonderment and joy, and you're like, well, you could do that. You could do this, that. Oh, if I combine this with that. Like, look at, I put my 2 cool action figures together, and I made a home movie. Watch my home movie. And then your parents are like, that's nice. I'm going to make dinner. Right? That's the first month of an edition. I'm not saying it's the best month, but it is guaranteed to be a good month. It's like going to be exciting.
Right.
It's going to be awesome. We're all going to be solving the same puzzle together. We're figuring it out. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm excited about. The first month.
The first month. I just can't. We've been doing model shots and everything, and kind of going through models and being like, oh, I wonder what this does in 10th.
Yep.
Maybe this will be good in 10th.
Yep.
Like, I haven't played this much this edition.
Yep.
Hopefully this is going to be cool. And I'm excited. I don't even know what the rules are.
Right?
So
It's going to be cool.
thanks, Fate Stay Dreamer.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thank you, Blake. Yay, my super chat suggestion became a good talk. Next
Yeah.
topic. What were your best memories of the 9th edition timeframe? Anything, not just 40k.
Best memories of the past 3 years?
Tabletop Titans?
Look, yeah, we came
that's-
up in 9th edition.
Broad, though.
Oh, was the channel not one of them? Huh?
It's not one memory. The channel isn't one big blur of a memory.
It kind of is for me. It's like a smear just across my like my mind.
You know how people make paintings by like putting a bunch of paint on like a spatula and they just drag the spatula across
That's what the channel is for
the
me.
canvas? It's just like, this is Tabletop Titans.
Yeah, that's how it makes me feel.
It's tough to pick out one time in the past 3 years. Like one, that's a lot, right? Our lives have changed a lot in 3 years.
Which is what were your best memories? So like,
I think moving into this studio was like pretty dope.
that was really cool.
Do you remember the night of the Kickstarter?
Yes, that was exciting.
that was
too.
cool.
Oh man.
Yeah, we've done a lot. I mean, like the streamathon that we did to turn on memberships, when we were like, guys, what if we get like just 14 members? Like, what do we do?
We were
We were gonna have like a thermometer, and then we killed it because we were like, what if we only have like 14? Like, that's pretty lame. If you have a thermometer and you're just at the bottom the whole time.
Do you remember the physical notebook I had where I was counting
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Every time we got a new member,
It
I
was
like
so cool.
highlighted.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so many hours lost to the Discord where it's just like, here's all these people, like, talking and
Just excited.
exciting.
Yeah.
It was just like this wildly overwhelming, cool moment.
Before we knew how strong of a tidal force,
Yeah.
the ocean of fans is, we were like,
Yeah.
I'm going to read every message. And then we learned.
We literally tried to go
learned.
through every message in every part of the Discord. We're like,
We
this is
learned.
much bigger than us.
Yeah,
we
were
cannot physically do it.
we were educated on the internet.
That was funny.
Blake says, the channel is a cop-out answer. Tournaments, life event, Titans train, other channels, etc.
What? That's
I
a
mean,
life
I
event.
that's what I is like the channel is too big. It's not an event. It's like
Yeah.
But we then picked out events in the channel history.
Studio, Kickstarter,
Yeah.
the launch of the memberships.
I got a PhD during that time.
You got a
period.
PhD.
That's a big life event.
Yeah, I'd
Oh,
say
you
so.
went to you guys met Liam and came back with the most annoying
Aw.
accents.
You need
Yeah, that was fun.
You need
I got a real job during the time that we worked here.
I know.
Before that, this was all I really did. Like I taught and I did this, and I wasn't enthused about teaching.
Right. Well, it was, it's rough living in the Bay,
Yep.
It's a tough place to be.
It's yeah.
So I'm glad you got to stick around.
Yeah. It's been a great 3 years.
Can't believe it's been 3 years.
Oh, I'm getting the feels, y'all. We should go to the next super chat.
Thanks, Blake.
Thank you, Blake.
Thanks, Blake.
7.
Thanks, Steven. Space Sharks.
Yes.
There you go.
But played as Raven Guard.
Yep. With Have Fun Boys and
World War of Ravnica.
yep. No, this is World of Rage and
Have fun, boys.
no, Hungry for Battle.
Yep. Wait, that you specifically can't take that combo. Those two call each other out as saying you can take this, but not with the other one.
All right, Steven, I have to have a little chat.
Right? Am I crazy?
There are two that you cannot combine.
And it's those
Could
two.
not tell you if this is them.
Look, Adrian, this is the first half of 9th edition. I have it all the way back in here.
What did you forget earlier? There's something really basic you couldn't remember.
You can't take those
That's
together.
true. Cannot take Have Fun Boys and Mr. Worldwide. Grab Captain with Imperium Sword and Master of Ambush. A Shield Lieutenant with Swift and Deadly. A 5 strong Incursor Squad. 5 Infiltrators. 5 Flank Storm Aggressors. 3 Bull Storm Aggressors. 2 Brutalis. 1 with Heavy Bolter. 1 with Multi-Melta. And the talents. Any improvements? Cool. I love Brutalis as Raven Guard is super cool.
Yeah.
Oh, if we had any Raven Guard, we would paint Brutalis.
If we had any
Steven
Brutalis.
says, worldwide renown, whatever, can't combine with Duelist, but can combine with Have Fun Boys.
Boom.
What?
You tell him, Steven.
No.
Yep.
No.
Have fun, boys.
What?
There's something I was gonna.
Whirlwind of Rage is exploding hits in combat. Duelist is like 6s to wound or immortal or something? Nobody ever takes Duelist. And the thing I just described might be too good to be a thing nobody's ever taken.
Yeah.
Hungry for Battle is +1 to charge, maybe +1 advance as well.
Oh yeah, you're totally wrong. Yeah, this is a combo you can definitely take. This is what Jesse was taking for a while. Yeah, Hungry for Battle is +1 to charge, and then Whirlwind of Rage.
Auto wound on 6.
Which one is?
Duelist. And Hungry for Battle. Sorry, Whirlwind of Rage. You can't take the two exploding. The two things that happen on 6s to hit, you can't take together.
Which I don't even think that'd be that good.
It wouldn't, but
Actually, one
GW.
would literally.
This is the combo that GW should have stopped. And I'm not saying this is too good. I'm saying if you were to choose any two that you couldn't take together, it would be these two.
Yeah, it's great. I'm trying to find something I would change, but I do like it, honestly. I'm not as crazy about Incursors, but I also can recognize that they have a bit more of a unique role in Raven Guard.
This is 2,000 points?
I don't think so.
This is 1,000
Yeah.
points. Because that's like 140, and 100 is 240. Why am I trying to do this math?
I don't know why.
This might be 1,500.
Well, whatever points it is.
It just doesn't feel like enough, right? Feels like you need more?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna say take more points.
You could, though. Or divest some of your heavy point squads into more.
1K list.
Okay.
Yeah. points, I think. You weirdo.
But that adds context, right? 1,000 points is played very differently than 2,000
I
points.
guess so. I don't know.
2 Brutalis at 1,000 points. Like, are you playing the game, or are you trying to table your opponent? At 1,000 points, 2 Brutalis.
I think Brutalis is okay. I might scrub the 3 Boltstorm for some more scoring, to be honest. Like, more Infiltrators or something. Because the Brutalis present problems for your opponent to solve. 3 Boltstorm is... It kind of feels like not enough in one direction or the other.
Yeah.
And I would rather just have some more OBSEC or pushing Deep Strikes back or something. I don't know. I could be wrong, but...
I don't actually love aggressors in general at 1,000 points. I know they serve 2 roles of like shooting and fighting,
Yeah.
which is something you want at 1,000 points.
Yeah.
But it's also just a heavy points investment that can get picked up by something, right? Like if they just have a killy unit.
Okay. So what would you take instead?
Can I take t-shirt cannons?
Ew, you would take Desolation squads?
I mean,
No.
I
I think they're definitely not good for
you
you.
hide them behind a building until you get out and shoot their aggressors and kill all of them, right? Like,
No, I don't like them at all.
no?
No.
The Brutalis are pushing up, giving you pressure.
Uh-huh.
They have to deal with the Brutalis or they lose. Behind the Brutalis is a Desolation squad on a building, 5 men.
Your opponent just holds objectives or move blocks your Dreadnoughts and then they just win. You need someone that can go in there and do stuff.
Bike Chaplain.
You can't go through walls either.
I don't need to go through walls. I need to go through the opponent.
I was open to hearing alternatives
If
to the
you
Flamestorm
cut
aggressors. I don't
9
think it's-
aggressors, you get more than 5 Desolators.
You better.
You get 5 Desolators and a Chaplain on bike.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
I
That's what I'm taking.
Like, Steven, remember, one of us here thought that you couldn't take Have Fun Boys. And one of us wants you to win. But thank you for the support.
Well, thank you, Kurama Woof. Hey, Titans. Glad I could catch you live. I am new to 40k. I am a guard player, but I am painting up some NIDs because I want to use them in Kill Team.
Oh,
Kill Team is the, like, it's the great...
it's the gateway drug.
the gateway drug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just going to do Kill Team. I can do an
Oh,
army.
just like a 500 point. I'll just
Next thing you know, you got a 1,000-point list with 2 Brutalis. And then you can go to 2,000 points.
Well, none of those models in that list were playable in Kill Team, so I don't think they started with Kill Team to get to that 1,000 points. The Infiltrators, you can play the Infiltrators in Kill Team.
Yes, exactly.
That's it, though.
Yeah. This sounds awesome. And that'll be that's kind of a cool pairing to have, right? You play the guard, and you have the NIDs. You could even do some like cross modeling, have like victims of the other army on your bases. Tell a story.
It's cool.
That'd be awesome. Welcome. Look, we're super excited to have you with us. We're going into a new edition, so it's a great time. We have a lot of content planned for new players.
And Tyranids were announced as like the faction that's getting a big revamp in 10th. It's a whole new model line.
Seems like a lot.
It'll be cool.
Well, I have to share the sappy thing that Blake shared. My kid was born and raised on the Purple Guys. Watching the stream with him as a newborn was a big event for me.
Aww. Purple guys.
We are a kids' TV show.
So cute.
We are.
We've known this for a while.
Yeah.
Somebody gave me a baby at LVO. I've told this story before.
Do you still have the baby?
No, I don't. They didn't. Sorry. They put a baby in my arms temporarily at LVO.
What'd you do?
Pretended to know how to hold it. I tried to not freak out the parents and be like, yeah, I can hold a baby.
You're like actually flipping.
Like, which way is up? But no, they told me this great story of like, the kid loves watching you on the television. And I was like, oh. And then as soon as the kid was in my arms, they're like, let go of me. I hate you.
Super cute. Thank you, B. Montgomery. Post a list in the Admech channel on Discord that I'm trying for my game stores tournament. I'd love some input on how to improve the list.
Yeah, totally.
We both went to our phones immediately.
As you should.
Are you going to beat me there?
Probably not.
You might.
Adrian probably has to log back in.
You have to log in?
2-factor. No, I got rid of 2-factor.
Okay, I found it.
Which means I lost all my mod privileges.
Yeah.
You got rid of... Wait, I haven't had a 2-factor for... I mean, I have it turned on, but like, why would...
I couldn't get the authenticator. I was having issues with the authenticator on my phone, And then so I was like, oh, I'll just turn it off. And then turns out our server, you have to have two-factor.
No, that's just Discord in general. You can't
be a mod
you
without
can't be
two-factor?
allowed to do pretty much
What's
anything.
the worst that could happen?
I mean, somebody could take down.
The problem is it was too safe. I couldn't get into my own
Well, that leads me to believe, Adrian, that you are not actually Adrian.
My God.
Do you have? I have the list, but you should probably read it.
Are you
'cause
sure is it the same name?
I didn't check the name. There's just an Admech list that was posted.
Is it the right
The names,
list?
they don't have to match.
They generally don't match.
But we're just going to read whatever list we say here. All right, go for it.
Yep. It's Lucius. They have the Good Marshal and a Manipulus. There's a lot of details that I'm going to not read
Oh, I see it.
because I don't know what any of that is. Rangers, Vanguard. Oh, these are weird amounts. 8 Vanguard, 6 Rangers, 8 Vanguard, 5 Rust Stalkers, 5 Rust Stalkers. No. Omniscient Mask. Don't know what that does, but on one of the Rust Stalkers, Omniscient Mask.
Exploding 6s.
2 Iron Striders, 1 Iron Strider. A Dune Crawler.
Yes.
It's a name I haven't seen in a long time.
Right.
With Neutron Laser.
Cool.
And a Scorpius with the Belros Cannon.
Excellent. All right, I'm looking at it now. So Lucius is going to give you +1 save against damage 1.
This is also at 1,000 points. Worth noting.
Yeah.
Because that's relevant to the discussion.
So I think the things that you skipped were quite important. Skitari Marshal is the Good Marshal, Bridger.
Well, I said that.
The Good Marshal.
I said the Good Marshal.
Yeah.
I skipped the stuff on the Manipulus because I don't know what any of that does.
Magi, Sonic Reaper. What the heck?
See, you don't know what it does
I
either.
just don't even know. And then Necro Mechanic. That's sick. Okay.
And he has a Transonic Cannon. You know what that does?
Yeah. That's what I used today. That's the 3 damage. Kunk.
You passed my test.
Yeah. I try. So I'm just parsing it out and thinking about what I like and what I don't like. I agree. The 6-man ranger is weird.
8-6. You could have a whole extra squad if you weren't 8-8-6.
So the arc rifle, I like the arc rifles. I think they're very underrated weapons, and they are. I don't think they're free, but they're very cheap right now. So I actually like them a lot. But I think like the 6 rangers not doing anything for you. I agree with.
They have an Arquebus, which is probably trying to snipe out a character.
But you could run an arquebus and still have a squad of 5.
Yes, yeah.
You don't need.
8-8-6 is a strange.
Yeah.
That immediately jumps out at me as like you could just have a 4th squad instead.
Exactly. I think the 2-5 Rust Stalkers is fine for 1,000 points. You know, like here we have the 2 bricks of 10, which I would still probably lean towards if I was running Rust Stalkers and 2,000 points. But 2x5 on the smaller scale is going to be, it's going to be interesting for like trading things. So that's fine. Omniscient Mask is fine. I'm partial to Tempercopia, Fight Last rather than Exploding 6s.
Very good.
And then because you have 2 squads of Rust Stalkers, let's say you have like a really tough target and you want to put both in without getting interrupted.
Yep.
You could Tempercopia,
That's huge.
tag team them. Actually, just like we did here today. Sometimes you have something that is so tough you're going to need both. So I would make that swap. I like the characters. I would change the troops.
I would put the Ballistari together.
I would also put the Ballistari together.
For buffs, right?
For buffs in every sense, right? From the characters, from the strats. So we have like the auto advance. You're just gonna get a bit more value out of them. And the Onager is, I would like it more if you were Martian because you have the rerolls built in.
Oh, that's big. Because it just doesn't have many shots, and it's not core, it's not reliable.
Exactly.
Doesn't get any of your buffs.
Yeah.
And it's going to feel bad every time you shoot it and it misses. Yeah. And you're like, wow, that was a lot of points for one shot that missed.
A lot. It's 100, which is still, I'd say 100 is how much it should cost, but it needs to be a bit more efficient for that many points. So
right, you look at like a Hammerhead, and a Hammerhead is a similar concept. It's a tank with one shot.
Yeah.
And it gets a reroll built in.
Yeah. I know. Well, this guy's D3 shots, which makes it even weirder to price too. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 3. And you never know until you go to shoot.
They just need to stop making weapons with random number of shots.
Yeah, I agree.
10th edition, don't cut that out.
Yeah. That's the only unit I would truly consider cutting if you're trying to like improve the list. Everything else is kind of just moving things around.
Dude, we had actionable feedback there. That was good feedback.
Nailed it.
We nailed it.
That's great.
Well, thank you, Stephen Whitman, for gifting 1 tabletop membership.
Oh, thank you, Stephen.
Thanks, Stephen.
Actually sniping B. Montgomery.
Oh,
look at that.
welcome.
Welcome to the community.
Cute.
See you Tuesday.
And thank you, Wally D, for gifting 1 tabletop membership.
Ooh, thanks,
I
Wally.
appreciate it.
Then we've got Rob O. Hey, Titans, building Custodes list.
Yeah. We got Trajan. Great start. We have a Vexilla.
Praetor?
Yeah, but normally we leave that off because Praetor's not the operative word there. So I was a little bit lost. I thought you were specifying which banner, but you weren't. Vexilla. We don't know which kind. Probably Magnifica, and I don't love it, but I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. I've come to terms with the Magnifica.
Okay.
4 guard of unspecified variety. I'm hoping shield. 5 Sagittarum. Nothing to specify there. We're good. 1 Achilles Dread, 3 Alaris, 3 bikes. What do I add next? Well, it depends, right? You're sort of now at this crossroads of what do I want, or what direction do I want to go with my army? Do I want to commit to Forge World and get some Dreadnoughts? Because Dreadnoughts are cool. Everybody likes the look of a Dreadnought. It's actually just a cool, very cool unit.
Yeah.
Do I want more bikes? And I'm a bike guy, and I'm like, pew, 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 and then I charge in and swoop in with my bikes.
Yeah.
Do I want more board presence? I'm going to get some sisters to hold objectives. I'm going to get more custodian guard. I'm going to spread out. I'm going to get more support characters. Maybe a blade wizard, sneak him into one of those squads, and then he'll shikaka.
That means blade champion.
It does, yeah. You have a lot of options. I would even argue you could get more Terminators in the face of 10th edition and say they might not be amazing now, but they're going to be good in 10th.
Yeah.
Because we saw Space Marine Terminators, and Custodes Terminators have to be at least as good as them. That's the rules.
That is the rule.
So, I don't know. I think you
Some
could go in so many different directions. You're at the crossroads of, like, you have a list. It's a foundation. You can build on this foundation in a lot of different ways. It just depends on what the units that you're playing now excite you, that you want to see more of, and you're gonna play more of that.
Yeah. Well
Have
said.
fun, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Not So Big No More. Hey, all, how about this for a late 9th GSC list? Papa Prince. Too complicated to possibly write down. Have a good game.
Oh, it's so true. But look, if you like GSC, specifically Papa Princes, tune in on Saturday. I'm going to be playing them. We had a poll recently that said, what do y'all want to see? And pretty much y'all said, yeah, we're down for like less competitive stuff. So John and I said, you know what? Let's go play a competitive game on Saturday. we kind of had it already planned out. So we're like, one more comp game.
What are they can't stop us. We're in charge
What are you
here.
going to do? Not watch?
Please watch.
It'll be fun. I'm going to be playing Pauper Princes. John's going to take Iron Hands, and it's pretty emblematic of the end of the edition.
Is he playing flying potatoes? Is he going to potato you to death?
There's no flying potatoes anymore.
What?
The Flyers? Are you talking about the Stormhawks?
The little potatoes.
You were like an edition.
They still exist. You can play them. But you said not competitive. You can take potatoes.
No, it is a competitive list.
Oh, well.
It is competitive.
But if he had potatoes, it would be really good against your Pauper Princes.
That's true. That would actually...
Can't charge them. They fly behind your buildings. They shoot you. They're annoying. They take up space, make it harder to deep strike.
Bridget, the clips are already filmed. Don't do this to us.
They're not. He's not going to play the potato just to mess with Adrian.
Which is the Stormhawk.
But... I'm just saying, the potatoes, we have a lot of them, and they never see play anymore.
I know. Because they're either really bad or they're super skewed.
Too good in this. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, tune in Saturday. Not So Big No More.
Check it out.
I'll try to play the game.
Thank you, Chris the Ghost. Hey, all. You have inspired my friends and I to try 40k. I'm struggling to figure out what army to build. Is now not a good time to pick an army due to 10th edition coming? Would you pick based on looks?
Great question. Your face. It's such a tough one.
Is now not a good time to pick it? Okay, so in the beginning. So like the first army that you ever played, Adrian. Did you buy a lot of it? Was it Orcs?
No, Zeldar.
And did you get a lot of it in the beginning?
No.
Right. So you played it for a little bit, and then you decided whether you liked it or not. and you tried something else. That's natural. This isn't the biggest decision in your life, the first army you ever play. Dip your toes, see if you even like Warhammer. Maybe we're just funny people, and you like us, and you hate Warhammer. We don't know.
Interesting direction.
You have to play the game to find out, like, is this something that I want to do? Because it's a big investment of time and money. Like, is this something that you enjoy? Okay, cool. What did you think about that army you played? Like, you were just messing around with the models. Do you like the models that you built and painted? Do you like their aesthetic? Did you like what they did in the game? Okay, now you can see, like, do you want more of that, or you want to try something else? And most players, I'll bet, switch. They'll get like a few boxes of something, they'll try it out, they'll play some games, they'll see something somebody else is playing, and they're like, oh, I want to play that. Let me see some of that. And then that's what they end up doing. I went years before finding Custodes. Yeah. And it was because I saw somebody else playing it, and I was like, give me some of that. I want that.
You were playing Tau.
I was playing Tau.
Which is wild to think
gross.
about.
But I started with like a very small Space Marine force with like TAC Marines and Terminators and Rhinos, and it was like a
generic
like picture of 40k. It was what they put on the box cover, which nobody plays, of course.
That's you.
I would say if you are lost on where to start, picking based on looks is never a bad choice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The only army I wouldn't start right now would be Nids.
Because new models are coming,
Yeah,
we
because
know.
we know like they're revamping a lot of things.
I agree. I think this is the worst time to be picking an army based off rules. Yeah. The best army to be picking one based off of looks.
Right.
You know?
It's
knowing that it could go south.
Right.
It could. You'd be like, oh, they're just not fun or whatever. But in the long run, if you like the models, you're not going to go wrong. But also, everything Bridger and Mel said.
And know that you might be surprised by what you end up enjoying. Like, I went into 40k thinking, oh, in all the games I've ever played, range advantage is such a big thing. And it feels good to have that advantage over your opponents. I'm going to play Tau, I'm going to shoot a lot, I'm going to be far away from them. And then I played it, and it just wasn't, the stakes weren't there for me, right? Like, you have your shoot phase, and then the opponent actually gets to do the fun stuff.
The melee phase.
See, you know, I learned trial and error.
True.
Let's try it.
My first army was Harlequins. Turns out I hate the psychic phase.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm with you. It's a dumb phase. We should get rid of it.
Great phase.
I think that's a great idea. I think someone should write that down.
We should get rid of the psychic phase.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you, Parker Knowlton. Hey, all. Just got home from uni for the summer. Weirdly had a dream a couple days ago where Adrian bought me dinner.
Oh.
Weird, but thanks, Dream Adrian.
No problem. You know what? I come to people in their dreams often.
What did you buy him for dinner?
Let's see, UK?
Do we know it's UK? No. Well, okay, uni. So it could be anywhere in Europe.
Could be pretty much anywhere.
Could be Australia.
It was
Uni.
Nando's. It was cheeky Nando's.
They don't have Taco Bell.
Cheeky Nando's.
Chicken Nando's. It was a cheeky Nando's?
I was going to go with
Nando's?
something universal like spaghetti.
That's not universal.
They have spaghetti everywhere.
Is that true, chat?
I feel like that. I think I'll give Bridger that answer. That they probably have
If
some
you
version.
said
I think you can order spaghetti somewhere in every
noodles,
country.
They have noodles everywhere.
Yeah.
Spaghetti? Like Italian spaghetti?
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying that like there is a restaurant that will serve you spaghetti everywhere.
Wow. Well, that's not what I made, Parker.
Okay.
That would be horrible.
You got him Taco
How
Bell.
disappointed would you be? Be like, oh, I'm in a dream. Here comes this person from YouTube. It's just spaghetti. Like
I would not be disappointed.
was
I would be disappointed if in my dream they got me Taco Bell.
that's true. All right, you know what? Got me there. There we go. How about a Sunday roast?
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
Liam.
Yeah.
Liam.
That's why whenever Liam ever plans on visiting, I have to be like, just so you know, I don't cook, because Lou set such a high bar.
Yeah, none of us. I don't cook.
No.
Do you cook?
Yeah. Wait. Yeah?
Well, I don't cook and Mel doesn't cook, so we were just establishing the people who don't cook.
Sorry, yeah, I cook.
Well,
Thanks,
thank
Parker.
you, Parker. Thank you, Graham Tevis. Hey, y'all. Iron Hand's list question for you. Infantry heavy comp list with GW terrain in mind. What are you bringing?
Space potato.
Not space potato. But I am bringing Desolators for sure.
Oh, now you like the Desolators.
No, I like them. I don't like them at 1,000 points where they're like half your army.
5 of them? How much can 5 of them cost?
One, yeah, you couldn't hear my stomach, but it was angry. Like 175.
Dude, that's
so much.
It's totally 6 aggressors is like 300 points.
6 aggressors is 180.
That's 30 points a model?
Yeah.
Same points as 5 Desolation, okay? I'm taking my 5 Desolators.
Anyways, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Iron Hands. Which we agree on Desolation, right?
Yeah. Put them in.
So taking them for sure.
How many squads, though? That's the big question.
At least 2.
Of 10? 2 of 5?
Probably 2 5s. Or a 10 and a 5.
You could bring a 10 and then combat squad them. But then you don't get 2 sergeants, which is why you take 2 5s.
Yeah. I like the Vengor launchers. You're going to mastercraft 1, so it goes to 3 damage. It's gross. It's great. Infantry heavy comp list. Okay. Look, all right, and there's going to be some gross stuff in here, but if you're down, then you should do it. 2 scout squads.
Yep.
You're going to have all snipers,
Missile.
camo cloaks, missile, thunder hammer.
Yep.
A block of Vanguard vets, like a 10 man, which you can combat squad if you need. They're pretty great.
With lightning claws.
With lightning claws, yeah. Ching, 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 ching. Maybe 1 shield. I don't know. I'm not sure where the kids are on that. I like the relic blade though.
Oh yeah.
Which is like a thing now.
Now that it's free, you just take it.
Exactly. 2x5 infiltrators for sure.
Classic.
More Desolation.
Look, you just have like 1,500 points to go.
I know. Okay.
2x10's not looking so bad anymore, is
Maybe
it?
you do take 2x10.
Yeah.
2x10. A unit of heavy eradicators for sure.
Oh, 2 units of 5.
2 units of 5?
Yeah.
I could be convinced.
Kill everything.
Kind of a flex slot for me.
What don't they kill?
Yeah, that's true. And then I'm trying to decide if I would recommend eliminators or not.
No. Get more support characters. Get like a
Yeah, you take that for sure. Okay.
a selfless healer apothecary.
Yeah.
You're gonna get yourself a librarian.
No, because you're Iron Hand. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yes, you could take a librarian. Okay. I really thought you were going to say captain. But here's the thing.
No, you take a lieutenant because you're already Iron Hands. You're already rerolling ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I'm on that bandwagon.
You know.
And then like 1 character dread. Like you're playing Iron Hands. I know you're infantry centric, but
yeah.
you said infantry heavy. You didn't say infantry only.
Okay. Ooh, that's true. That's true. In that case, you can add in a couple speeders too. Which hardly cost any points at all. So you're really not distracting from infantry.
It's true.
And that's the list. And it would be pretty dang good.
We nailed it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wally D. What moment drew the most tears? Let's hear you guys choke up. Tell us the feels.
Tell us the feels. Oh my God. Well, honestly, like that first day that we opened up the memberships and went to the Discord, like that was a really, really cool moment because you know we're kind of just like putting things out into the void, and obviously during the launch of Ninth we had a lot of growth and a lot of people.
Yeah.
But then we were like, okay, well now are we asking people to like give money and like you know we think we are going to give something of value, but you're still asking people to like trust you, and just the outflow of the outpouring of people and people that were not only willing to like give us a shot and like get a membership, but then also actively were like part of the community and like built that community. That was
super cool.
That was the moment for me. Like that was amazing.
Yeah.
And it was so quickly like just beyond us. We're just like, wow, we cannot, like this isn't ours. Like we'll make sure this is a space for people, and it immediately kind of decided how we would like try to run this thing, which is like it's for the people. And that was.
Yeah, it was a very formative time for us. Like we learned a lot. We had our perspectives completely changed about so many things.
Right.
And now it's like just understood. We don't feel that impact anymore. But I want to find a way for us to connect more with that because we've lived so long in this world where we know that it's bigger than us and that like we're just here doing a show.
Yeah.
Like it's almost become mundane. Like we just come in and we do our show. But it used to be such a big, at least for me, like it was a big deal to like see how people in chat were doing, to see faces again, and like it was manageable. It was something where I could keep track of all the people,
Right.
and then keep connected.
Yeah.
I feel disconnected. I mean, part of it is because like I have a full-time job outside of this.
You have been particularly slammed these last couple months, to be honest.
Forever now. Like it's not
really,
gonna
really tough.
go away.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
Don't tell me that. No, but that is the thing, and like, I lost my train of thought.
it is harder to stay connected, not being full-time.
Yeah.
And not really having much time outside of like when I'm here on camera to connect with the audience. Like, and I want to find more ways to do this, but like I reached out and I was like, hey, Magic folks who want to help us with Magic Titans, because we're going to bring that back. We're like, we're not partnered. What's the term? We're ambassadors for Wizards of the Coast, I think is the term that we can use.
Yeah, there's words that we can and cannot use.
Right. I think ambassador is
I'm
the
glad
correct
we're
word.
doing that live to figure that out.
No, ambassador is the word they
Well,
used.
we're not like going into business with them.
That's
which is
their
what
word.
partnership implies, right? That's why it's not like
Right.
we're like making Magic cards with them,
No.
but
we're
we're doing stuff
ambassadors.
with them.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's their word.
Yeah.
And so like I reached out and I was like, hey, Magic people in the community, at me and the Magic channel.
Yeah.
And they did. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna DM you guys. And I haven't DM'd them yet because I don't have time. Like it's so hard for me. And that's something that you know that I want to do,
Yeah.
but it's just so hard for me to stay connected.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
It's tough.
The Discord it's like a river too, and I've been really trying to be better about like being okay with it being a river. Like if you have like your chats in like like we have chats and it's a slower pace because it's way less people, and you can like say a thing and then say a thing and someone might comment or
You
whatever.
can read all of it.
But in Discord it's like you say a thing of hey what's up and it goes so fast because there's so many other people, and like being more okay with that, like just drop in, say hi, do what you can, because it's like this river
It's tough.
of stuff going on, and it is kind of weird to come to terms with. I definitely agree.
I feel bad when I get added, and then Discord does this thing where if there's enough messages, when you click the notification, if there were enough messages between now and then, it scrolls to basically a random spot. Like it's trying to scroll to where it was, but Discord lost track of where that at was.
Yeah.
So you're just lost in the nether of like, I don't know, here's a random spot in that channel, good luck. And I'm like, but I wanted to respond to that
drops you
person.
in.
Like where was that message? I wanted to say that. It's tough.
Totally.
Yeah.
I actually
No.
cried at 100K. Like,
Aw.
I was producing and was on mic.
right.
That
Aw.
was literal tears. Because it's like something
big
I'm
deal.
part of, but also something I got to watch someone I care about so deeply get to do. And so, and like to watch someone you love succeed is really like a compounding feeling. So,
Aw.
yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, love.
Thank you, Dugrim Bloodbeard. Well, I guess we're making 10th edition wish list, so
Okay.
here's mine. I just want the Gargantuan Squiggle to be good. Last time I ran it, a single squad of Eradicators and a Redemptor ruined my day.
Bullies. This is actually one of the units I was talking about when I was looking at them. I was like, oh, are you gonna come out to play?
Toughness 20.
Toughness 20. Heck yeah.
It's not a vehicle, so anti-vehicle won't work.
Oh. Yeah, Melta's winning on 5s. No.
Sixes if it's toughness 20.
6s are toughness 20. Yes!
It was a bolter.
It is definitely one of those units that can really benefit from some of the new system stuff, honestly. Like, yeah, that thing is not super armored, but it's gonna have a high toughness.
Right.
So I am excited. Gargantuan Squiggle, let's go.
What other
Engagement present. It just sits on the thing.
I know.
what unit do I what are you just piggybacking on Gargantuan Squiggle?
Your Orca.
My beached whale?
Yeah. How would you, as a Death Guard player, like to actually play the Lord of Virulence for once? Remember that model?
No. Who? Is this like the little mini Demon Prince guy?
Yeah. They came out with a new model for the
He
new
was
book.
with the terrain piece, right? He came out at the same time as the
Same
Plague
time.
Furnace thing?
Yeah, yeah. But he was so bad.
Yeah, I've never played either of those.
Yeah, those would be great. You like Death Guard?
I want Demon Princess to be good more than I want that.
Oh, wow.
Demon Prince has been bad for so long.
They're weird, though.
Yeah, but I want them to be cool weird. Like, they're demon princes. They should be in charge. And then they're like punks on the tabletop. They're terrible. You're like, this is a prince of demons. This is royalty among the mega evil demon things. Why are they garbage?
It's true. You're not wrong.
I want to see it. Bring it back. 10th edition. They count as not vehicles or monsters or infantry. Anti doesn't work on them. That's my prediction.
They're anti-anti.
They have anti-anti.
Awesome. Thank you so much, JP Artspace. I have nearly 2 Tau armies with no sub-factions. What should I do with them? My main was an FSE collection of 3,000. Second, Crute Heavy Daleth.
Oh, I see.
Say no sub-factions, and then you specify sub-factions.
So what, yeah, I thought the same thing. So what JP is saying is, because 10th edition isn't really going to have sub-factions, what do they do? So 3,000 points of Farsight Enclaves, and then a Crute Heavy Daleth. So I'm really curious what the actual implementation of the no chapter tactics means, right? They showed us like, they were like, oh, there's going to be like the Gladius like strike force or something, and that gives you whatever rules. And in the article, they're like, oh, this is like kind of Ultramarines, but like not necessarily. So I think it's going to be a weird thing where there's like, there's no colors. But at the same time, like if they come out with like a Tau like spread that's aggressive, makes sense for your Farsight Enclave like collection. But are you going to feel weird if they come out with like a stealthy, it's like a stealth cadre version, and technically you now play your Farsight as that, right? It's like technically it's fine, but you might feel a little bit weird about it from a lore perspective. There's a weird dynamic there where the colors don't matter, but we also kind of still care about the colors.
Right. So definitely GW has made a decision with the goal of making it easier for players and less stressful. They're trying to tell you, paint it however you want. Mm-hmm. Don't make the rules decide how you paint your models.
Right.
You tell your own story is almost word for word what they're going for. Of like, these are your models, tell your story, this is your narrative. With that being said, you could find a way, especially now that colors don't matter, you could find a way to mix those two together and have a story be like, these Crute-heavy components of my Tau are painted to be Dal'yth, and these suits are painted to be Farsight because they joined forces in this place for this reason, and it makes sense because the Crute stuff is like it. You write your story, nobody else is going to care anymore, in a good way. In like a, they're not going to yell at you for like, oh, you can't. That's purple and you're playing Farsight. Like, no, they're your models. Play with them however you want. There will likely be detachments. Probably Farsight's going to have a detachment. And it's probably going to be blatant that it's like a Farsight detachment. They're going to be like, these are the Farsight. You don't get ethereals.
Right.
And it's like, okay.
The fast Tau.
In which case, you're good because you already painted your Farsight stuff as Farsight. So, like, I think just play it however you want.
Yeah. And you can always find justifications, you know, it's like even looking at Farsight, and like again, like let's say they come out with a stealth cadre. I mean, there's plenty of cases where Farsight does employ Kauyon.
Stealthy, yeah.
It's not like his favorite thing, but like he's not an idiot.
Right.
Know?
He still does it.
I think it's gonna be okay. Give yourself permission.
Yes.
Good question.
Thank you, Carmel Johnson. I got a couple of my friends together and convinced them to get into 40k from AOS because of y'all.
Yeah.
Any tips or warnings for moving one to the other?
I have warnings for people who play with you. Tell them that AP and Rend are the same thing, and it's okay.
They'll figure that one out, I think.
Yeah.
But the 6-inch objective versus 3-inch objective is going to get you a lot.
Ah, that's rough, right?
You're going to be close in 40k.
And 3-inch engagement
versus 1-inch
is
engagement.
a fundamental.
Yeah.
Like that throws your brain off so much.
Yeah. Psychic is not in the command phase, but it's also not in any phase soon. So
that'll actually make it easier.
Chargers fight first.
Yes.
It's a big one.
It's the fact that these game systems are like different but not different that makes it difficult. If they had just made them fundamentally like different systems, it would have been easier.
It's funny though, because you look at like Atomic Mass Games, a different game company, who basically uses the same system for every game they make.
Yeah.
People don't get confused with those. You know why? Because they're consistent.
Yeah.
Like, the dice do basically the same thing in all the games.
Right.
You don't get confused about what a symbol means.
They rebrand maybe what they represent, but what they do is the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas GW is like, fundamentally, these are different games at the core, but they're similar.
Yeah.
They're really close.
But they use the same language. Yeah.
We're going to use the same words a lot in both games, and they mean different things. Watch out.
Yeah, 40k has battle line now. It's not the same. Actually, it kind of is the same. I don't know.
Similar. That's the problem, though. It's like they're always different but similar.
Yeah, exactly.
I always get in trouble because I count the wrong way on the wounds.
Oh my god, yeah.
Classic mistake that will upset both audiences.
Yeah. No matter what, I'm usually wrong. Like,
But that's gaming. That's just like, so there's always somebody to tell you in gaming you're doing that wrong.
Yeah, that's
You're
true.
gaming wrong.
Yeah, that's
Like,
how you know
cool.
you're getting the real experience.
Right.
thanks
Thank
so
you.
much and enjoy. Thank you again, Fates Daydreamer. Great nights.
All right, here we go. This is Rapiers.
This is some spaces.
Chaplain Paladin.
Ancients.
Paladin. Sorry, Chaplain Paladin Ancient. Nope.
Nope.
Chaplain. I don't know.
Ancients 2x5. No,
The
I think
Paladin's
it's
throwing me off.
it's a chaplain 2x5 paladins.
Oh, no.
What is a paladin ancient?
It's Chaplain, which is Terminator Ancient, right? 2x5 strikes, 3x3 Paladins,
Whoa.
3x5
Whoa.
Vendreads.
Wait, hold.
What?
Hold on.
What's
Fates
the problem?
Daydreamer, you've been a regular here, okay? This is not your first time super chatting. You cut spaces before you cut all these superfluous words over here. You use 3 words with no spaces to describe one model.
No, I think those are different models. There's 2 models.
What 2 models is that?
It's a Chaplain, and then a Paladin Ancient. Why is there S? You're sure? Okay, you know what? You're
I
fair.
don't know
Go
what
back
this
to your
is.
scolding.
So you have 2x5 strikes, 3x3 paladins, 3x5 Vendreads? No. No. No.
Wait.
No. No. You're not getting me with that one. Can't slip that past me.
All right. Went back to GK this weekend. Had a lot of fun. Looking forward to see how this looks in 10th. Well, I don't think you can take squads of dreads in 10th edition.
Can you imagine 15 Vendreads?
That would be awesome. Oh, yes.
30 last cannons, dude.
Amazing. This is a very elite list. No matter how you look at
No
this
matter
list,
how you cut it up.
it's elite. It's cool.
There's actually no way, if you put the numbers left or right, it's wrong either way. Because you can't have 3x3 strikes. Which means it's 3x3 paladins, and the 3x5 has to go to Vendreads.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like they put the 3x5 in the wrong place, because then there's 3x10 afterwards for interceptors.
Yeah.
There's actually too many counts here.
So many interceptors. That's cool. This is a fun list. I like it.
Well, you combat squads, so you get 6 squads of
Right.
5 interceptors.
Like, the list looks too elite, especially when you're like, that's a lot of paladins broken up. And then you're like, oh, there's 30 interceptors, 6 squads.
It's actually not that elite. It's missing characters. Often you see a lot of characters in GK.
I hope you have the Rights of War-ish ability
On the Ancient? Yeah.
somewhere, because you don't have much OBSEC, and I always get nervous when I see.
Grey Knights without OPSEC.
Yeah, I was gonna say John's, but yeah, because he likes to do it. But then you take the OBSEC character, and then it helps balance it. You just have to play. You just have to get good, basically, which is scary, but it's like the right move if you can do it. Thanks, Faith Say.
Thanks. It's gentle ribbing, okay?
Thanks again, Steven. I thought we weren't allowed to be mean to people, Bridger.
Yeah, sometimes it's necessary.
You gotta keep them in line.
Thanks, Steven, again. There you go, Bridger. Specifically addressed to you.
Oh, okay. 6 Flamestorms get Master of Ambush 9 inches from the enemy army for turn 1 Alpha Strike. Any tips on keeping my Titan's train flat? The different panels don't like to stay down. You mean when it's closed, or when it's open, it pulls itself up. It's got some tension and it pulls itself up a little bit. You want it to be flat?
Yeah.
So we do things like put trees
Yep.
on intersections of tiles.
Trees are good because they're heavy. You can also overbend them, especially, I don't know how old your box is, but when you first get them, they've been really, really packed down. So we've had a couple times on the stream where we're like, oh, let's just open a fresh box.
And then it's like,
and it's just like, it's like way too much.
They're springy.
You can they will take some stretching if you want to overbend them a bit. And that helps a lot, honestly. But yeah, other than that, like you can put trees and stuff to help hold down if there's any like real problem tiles.
So the Alpha Strike strategy.
Yeah, you used to be all about this.
I did when Raven Guard were good.
You think it's too much to throw?
Very all in.
Yeah.
It will win you games. I'm not gonna lie about that. That strategy will definitely win you games, up until a point. At which point, your opponents will know how it works, and they'll deploy in such a way that you kind of just have a 300-point dead weight. Because you can't do it effectively, or you can throw them away. You can put them up and throw them away, and they die.
You can just pull them back. Right.
Like, so you have a dead weight. They're either in your deployment zone and they're slow, and they're flamestorm aggressors.
They can be mid-board safe. There is something in between all and nothing. Like, because you can redeploy them, don't you think there's some flexibility? Like,
I just think baseline they're not a great unit, and this enables them to be a great unit, but only if your opponent lets you, right? Mm-hmm. That like you want, it's great when they do this thing and they jump up the board. Mm-hmm. Awesome when it works, but when it doesn't work, it's actually, it feels like points wasted because it's going to take them 2 turns just to get into the game.
Mostly fair.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of 6-man aggressors. Like at 1,000 points, at any points level, 6 aggressors can die. Mm-hmm. 2 moderate lethality units. Like they're not the tankiest thing in the game. Mm-hmm. You don't have an apothecary to give them a feel no pain. You don't have a librarian to give them an invuln.
That's true. They
will just die to anti-elite stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's a third of your list. It's not. It's a fifth of your list.
But it's a chunk of points.
It's 20% of your army.
Yeah. Is
these 6 models that can alpha strike very effectively. And I'm with you. When that works, your opponent will lose pretty much turn 1, which you have to ask yourself, is that the kind of Warhammer you want to play?
Yeah.
Because it's, in some people's opinion, not Warhammer. But then also when it doesn't work, what are you doing? Yeah, that's my feedback. I would switch them for Van Vets if you want to do that.
Also a good choice.
Awesome. Thanks again, Steven.
Thank
you, Crashing Adam. Is there any reason for 9 Eliminators in a Raven Guard army not to take Strength 8, AP3, D3 last Fusils, maybe Strength 5, AP2, D2 Mortis rounds for the mortal wounds on 6s?
I like the Mortis rounds still. The last Fusils are cute. They're not terrible. Like, look at that profile. It's really okay. But the Mortis rounds just have this really nice flexibility about them that can also snipe characters. And I'd rather have like 2 of those and then take the sergeant with the weapon that lets you move, shoot, move. So you are doing a lot with 1 unit because they're quite cheap right now. So you're killy, you have movement, you can do scoring. They're great for behind enemy lines. Like they kind of just do it all if you take the bolt snipers. What do you think?
I think they kneecapped this unit when they said you can only have 3 of them. I think if you could have 6, you have 1 sergeant, and you have 5 guys behind him.
That would be pretty cool.
And they cost more. I think you have to make them cost more at that point.
Yeah.
Then Eliminators are actually like a really saucy unit.
Yeah.
They can serve a lot of roles, and the guns that you give them either lets them reliably snipe a character. I think 6 of them with Mortis rounds will kill a character. Yeah. And you could do the Phobos tech where you call them up with a lieutenant, and the lieutenant's across the board, and he's like, hey, I'm with you, dude. And then they get rerolls. Phobos tech. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But as it stands, they don't reliably kill a character. Certainly, because it's 2 guns. Because one of them has, the sergeant has the derp gun. Yeah. 2 of them's not killing any character in the whole game. I don't even know if 2 of them reliably kills a guard character.
That's why you have 9.
Well, but
so it's 6 of them.
So it's 6 shots, and they're not all going to be in the same place.
The sergeant can snipe. Like it's not a terrible gun. but it's just not as good as these.
You're not gonna put all 9 in the same place. You're gonna spread them out.
You might have to.
Because you're. I struggle to get them to work.
I agree.
I want them so badly to be good. They're one of my favorite. They are my favorite Phobos unit.
They're
for
a
sure.
gorgeous unit.
They're so cool.
But here's the question. The question is not, should I take Eliminators? Because the answer is usually no.
No, they said, is there any reason
not to take the Las Fusils?
Yes, because you shouldn't be taking them at all. That's my reason. Is don't take Eliminators. Is there a reason to not take Last Fusils? Yes. Taking Last Fusils means you have Eliminators.
Oh my god. Well, you heard it here first,
but
folks.
it's brutal honesty.
Well, thanks so much, Crashing Adam. Thank you again, Slogan. What makes 40k 40k in your eyes? For me, it's always been bolters, power armor, and melee from true super soldiers.
That's true. I think that's certainly at the core of it. I think it's about epic, dark, but not like overly like. I don't actually put too much emphasis on the grim dark. Like it's like a dark theme, but I don't approach it from a dark perspective of like, it's so moody with my.
Right, nobody does. That's the funny thing is the universe is very grimdark. But when you play a game of 40k, you're just giggling.
It's jolly.
And you're playing with your action figures, and you're like, look at my cool little guy.
Exactly. You know? And that's what it's about for me.
It's such a broad question because the landscape of 40k content spans like lore content that is the grimdark, and that's like kind of cool.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
The lore is like a deep well that you can fall into and you could chase forever. The game itself, like tabletop, it is quintessential tabletop wargaming. It's like defined the genre.
Yeah.
So that's a whole thing of like wargaming, which is entirely disconnected from the lore for me. And then there's like the video games, which are different from both of those. Like there's so much to 40k.
Yeah, that's true.
It's hard to answer.
They're also connected though. Like I think, like some of these I love, but they don't make or break the deal for me. So like the video games and stuff. I love them. Great, grew up with all of them. But for me, it's the trifecta is the lore,
One.
the hobby,
2.
and the playing. And if any of these 3 didn't exist, then I would not be as into it as I am. Because they feed each other.
Yep.
You read a book, you want to play the unit. So you buy the unit, you paint it, it's super cool, excited to play. You play it, you're super excited, you can't wait to work on them or read another book about them.
Yeah.
And then the cycle begins.
Yep.
And because they're also different types of things that you do, I always wanted to do something Warhammer. Like, we just played a big game. You know what I'm want to do when I get home? I'm gonna go paint models because that's something completely different. But it's still Warhammer, you know. And when I'm driving tomorrow, I'm gonna be listening to a book because there are different ways of appreciating it. So those are the 3, you know.
That keeps you in, yeah.
Yeah, it's like all these different parts about it.
Right, yeah. It's hard. Maybe that's what makes 40k 40k. Is all the what are they the gestalt?
Oh yeah.
Bringing out fancy words.
Yeah.
Taking the SAT.
Gestalt. SATs just happened, by the way.
Did they?
Yeah. How'd you do?
Didn't show up.
Oh,
Got a 0.
Bridger, you're at school. You're not wearing your clothes. You didn't do your homework.
Adrian, you still have nightmares about that.
The no clothes or school?
School.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I have the maybe privilege, maybe honor of not remembering dreams at all.
What?
Like very occasionally, I'll wake up with not enough sleep, which somehow allows me to remember what I was dreaming about.
Oh, interesting.
But I guess if I get a full REM cycle, it's like it's already gone.
Just clears out, washes out.
Already gone. I wake up and I'm like, I have a meeting in 2 minutes.
Sounds like there's a different problem going on. I remember like all of my dreams.
For like a very long time.
They're very vivid. Yeah.
Like if I don't tell you within the first 10 minutes, it's gone.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Me too. It's yep. Which is, just to be clear, Mel, how your brain's supposed to function.
Right. No, Adrian will be like, 2 days later, he's like, let me tell you the 30-minute tale of my brain.
They're so detailed and they're so obvious. It's so like it's the worst writing ever. Like literally last night it was like this dream about moving.
He remembers.
Which was horrible because I hate moving. I have like recurring dreams about like moving and traveling. And they're both horrible.
Those are both stressful.
And this was like a very long, in-depth dream of like packing all of this stuff in piles of junk, and and my mother and father-in-law, bless their hearts, were there, and they were not helping at all.
No.
And they were making it so much worse. And it was like this big like trailer that was actually like my garage when I was a kid, and there was like a whole Warhammer table because of course there was Warhammer in the dream. But it was kind of cool because then we basically had like this van that we could drive around. In the back there's like a Warhammer table set up. It was great.
That's actually the aspect of dreams that I love the most. Is you just take all of reality, and you're like, but what if though? Like what if like this childhood space didn't exist in adulthood, but like what if we just cram this childhood space into adulthood?
Exactly.
And what if we took this game and we just put it in the back of a van, like
Yeah,
because like what if that happened?
Right. And you're like, huh, what if?
That's pretty cool.
Kind of nice actually.
Abstract, right?
I'm sure this is what Slokin was going for with their super chat.
Yeah,
Thank you
this
so
is what
much.
he was about.
Well,
Thank you, Galileo.
Mel wants to go.
That is not true.
I did not want to go.
Mel knows how many super chats we have.
Oh, that's fair.
Hey, first time super chat. What is your favorite teased rule for 10th and least liked, hated one? Thanks for the amazing content.
Good question. Favorite? Transports. That's really exciting. Partially because it's so different. I'm nervous. I'm nervous for shooting armies to be able to like move really fast towards you and blitz you and shoot you around corners.
But you'll be in transports. Did you think about that?
Now you're thinking with portals.
Because you'll be in transports. They're going to get out of their transports and shoot you,
Like
but you're
Hey,
still in your transports.
we're
So
just
you're,
like Spider-Man and we're like
you're good.
transport Spider-Man. So that's my favorite. What's your favorite?
It's like the combination of higher toughness, like a more diverse spectrum of defensive profiles with the anti-keyword. Like that in tandem eliminates this top tier of weapons that are good against everything. It's I think, going to really diversify the decisions that you make in a game, both in list building and in playing the game. Of like, ooh, do I commit this tool to that problem, or can I not afford to do that and I have to save it for this other problem that's coming later? Like, that's the really difficult, gritty decisions that have been lacking, I think, in 9th edition.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for the new like layouts in the books. Like the new delivering of knowledge in a structured manner. I'm so excited for.
Yeah. It's gonna be much easier to approach for sure.
I know it's not a rule, but it's all the rules.
No, that's a big part
It's
of
the
it.
presentation of the rules.
You know, 100%. Least favorite or hated?
I'm going to go least liked, because I don't actually hate anything they've done yet.
Okay.
But the terrain rules did not excite me.
Yeah, they seemed underwhelming.
Brought nothing. It was a nothing burger.
Yeah, that's fair.
They said that cover gives you +1 to your save, and I was like, cool.
Right.
That was it.
Hey, you can shoot down 6 inches.
I ignored that because it was dumb.
What don't I like? Yeah, it's kind of similar. I'm into it. I still have concerns for complexity.
Mm.
You know, I'm nervous.
They keep saying simpler, and they keep implying less rerolls. However,
No. That's just more effort. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about losing flavor.
Flavor Flav?
Flavor Flav.
Oh, so you're not worried about whether it's getting simpler. You're taking them at face value. It's getting simpler. But will it still have flavor?
Yeah, like when you tell me, and most of these things are still good, don't get me wrong. When you tell me that like a lieutenant, a regular lieutenant, can only join certain squads.
Yeah.
And that's great from a design game balance perspective because they can shrink the space down.
Yep.
But that space is also the place that I'm trying to play in.
That's your world.
My sandbox is smaller.
And they told you in your world, your lieutenant can't go hang out with the aggressors because he's not gratis.
Yeah, like I want to be able to build my own thing and not be like, well, this guy go with here, and then that's it, and that's exactly what everyone else is gonna do. And so nothing concrete, but that'd be my only concern.
Yeah, I think we haven't seen enough of it to make a judgment call yet.
Oh, totally.
But largely, I'm assuming it's going to be like your Gravis guys go with your Gravis guys. And your Primaris guys go with your Primaris guys. Or like, your non-Gravis, non-Phobos. Because they're trying to cut down that barrier between Primaris and Firstborn. So like, your foot captain that's not a Terminator or Gravis or Phobos doesn't have a jump pack, he's not on a bike, right? Those guys. Just go with your normal guys.
Yeah.
Your Gravis goes with Gravis, Terminators with Terminators. Like that, if they do that, I'm fine with it. But if they're like Blade Guard captain, the captain from the Blade Guard box can only go in Blade Guard squads.
Right.
I'm out. I'm like, this is dumb. I've lost my immersion.
Yeah.
Just because he came in the same box doesn't mean anything.
I don't want them to be overly prescriptive.
Right.
So, but again, it's like nothing concrete.
And it's weirdly specific to Space Marines.
I know. As you were saying, I was trying to think of like, but some of them make sense. Like, okay, well, maybe Phoenix Lords can only join their aspects, but that like I'm kind of okay with that actually.
Yeah. I mean, my gut reaction is like, oh, why? No, that's so restrictive. But then I think about the alternative, which is like mix and match this dumb Phoenix Lord with that dumb Aspect Warrior, and you just find the dumb combo, and I'm like, oh, I hate that more. No, go back to the other one.
No, exactly. So, but you, Mel, anything you're not into yet?
I mean, I seem the most skeptical, probably the least educated about the change, but I'm not sure about them getting rid of Psychic. Even though I don't like Psychic, I'm very confused about, I'm concerned about them getting rid of it.
So we know that the offensive powers are just guns now. Guns with extra steps.
Which, I don't know.
You don't like that?
About, yeah.
They seem, to be honest, better than psychic powers used to be. Like, they're more offensive.
Yeah, but I'm not concerned about better. I've never been concerned about winning.
Okay.
Like, Psychic was at least cool and interesting. I'm worried about, because that's actually what draws me to AOS more than 40k. It's like, I prefer the types of weapons in AOS. Like, I'm not a really, like, let's get a big gun and a bigger gun and put a bigger gun on my big gun. And, like, that's where it seems like Psychic is going to me, and that makes me a little about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I can see that. Psychic ends up just being what's the biggest numbers, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. But here's just maybe
Counterpoint.
Love it.
not counterpoint, but to maybe assuage some fears, maybe. Right now we're in this problem of like Psychic only being mortal wounds. And this way they can get a bit more creative with, there's only so many ways you can write a unit takes mortal wounds without it being too powerful or too underwhelming. But
it's very binary.
Yeah.
And it's very good against specific things.
Yes.
And it's very bad against everything else.
Right. But if it's a weapon profile, is it lots of tiny shots? Is it one big shot? Does it like bounce between different? I don't know. Like I think they could do something with it, which.
I mean, I'm optimistic, and like I will agree with both of you that I haven't hated anything, but the one thing that made me go, like, oh no, that was it.
Yeah. Interesting.
And like I would prefer if they moved the magic system to AOS magic system and
in
40k.
In the command phase.
Yeah.
And just kept it magic, but move it.
You make it magical. That's what I want.
This isn't magic. This is 40k. Okay, this is grim darkness in the far future.
I think that Psychic in 40k and Magic in AOS have another major difference, which is that Magic in AOS is very high impact.
That's fair.
It's like, this spell is going to ruin that unit, or it's going to make this unit unbelievably strong, because it's a very high magic game.
Yeah.
Whereas in 40k, your Psychic phase is like, I kill one of those guys, and then I score some points. Right? Or like, here's a buff that is good, but it's not like AOS good. It's not doing crazy stuff.
That's fair. That's fair. That it's definitely not on the same scale, and it's probably just because I like that scale more, because I am not a like first-person shooter type of
That's
game
fair.
player.
Yeah.
She likes wizards.
I like
Wizards.
wizards.
I also like wizards.
Yeah. This is great.
Thank you so much, Galileo. Thank you, Digital Designer. Evening Titans.
Hey.
T30 days to BAO. Wow, that was rude. Have y'all decided on the faction you'll take? Also, how many more events do you think you'll go to a night? I think I have 3 more majors, which are back-to-back weekends.
3 majors.
Wow.
That sounds like a bad idea,
That's
Digital.
Oh my god.
That's a lot of travel.
I am probably.
How does your work feel about this?
I mean, it's probably just BAO. I mean, over the summer, I don't have anything planned until Nova, major events-wise. I'm sure I'll play a lot of small events. And Well, if 10th isn't here by then I'm just gonna quit. So I'm kind of seeing it as BAO as my last big event, and I'm gonna take some Gene Stealer cults. Yep.
Digital is doing MD Open, BAO, then KC Open.
Oh, you're doing the Maryland Open?
Very far apart.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 sectors. The 3, like it's the
It's
the right part, the middle part, and the left part. You're actually traversing from top right to bottom left of the whole country.
That's really cool, actually.
That's a lot of travel.
When's the Maryland Open?
Apparently the weekend before.
BAO.
All right.
So in like 2 weeks.
Let's go.
No.
Let's do it.
I haven't even decided what event I'm playing in, to be honest.
For BAO?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh?
All right. So, a little behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I found a Marvel Crisis Protocol affiliation that I really like. I really like this affiliation, and I told myself if I were ever to play competitively, which I know I said I wouldn't, but if I were, it would be these guys. And I don't intend on winning any of my games. If I were to play, not saying I will, then that's the faction that I would play if I were to go and lose all my games. But I'm not saying that I will. So
yeah, that's fair.
I'm hedging here. I'm making any commitments.
All right. You keep your
Saying-
secrets, wizard.
If I would, then I did. Would.
Blake is asking us, are we going to the Seattle GT?
No.
That's the G-Dubs one, right? Oh, man.
I can with confidence say that I'm not going to Seattle.
I cannot say it with confidence, because I think I actually did want to go to that one.
When is it?
I feel like we
That's an
asked this
important
a lot.
factor, Adrian.
The
in you
Seattle
going.
one comes up a lot, yeah.
I feel like the Seattle one comes up, and then they're like, it's in December, and we're like, mer, mer, mer.
Maybe that's
like,
why, yeah. I feel like it's always,
What?
yeah, I don't know. We'll wait for the response.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
That sounds good. We'll get back to you, Digital. Okay. Last one for the night. Thanks, Blake, again.
Oh, hey.
Make Soulblight just beat Zach's Beast Claws, his first loss.
Oh, my
By
God.
Highlander rule, she inherits the Slayer sword. There can only be one. See Discord.
Wait, is she going to have...
How does Soulblight beat BCR? Also, why are they playing that game? That is not a good game of Sigmar. Maybe it is. Hold on. Wait, I'm thinking it over again. I'm rewinding.
Well, Soulblight has the screening to do interesting stuff.
And the durability.
Yes.
And of the death factions, they have the output to kind of deal with Beastclaw.
Yeah.
I'm not intimately familiar with their new book.
Yeah, me neither, to be fair.
Oh, and they have the werewolf vampire lady. She's really
What did
good.
she do again?
She's super anti-monster. She
Oh.
drops, when she's in combat with a
that's right.
monster, she drops all their attack profiles to 1 attack.
That is
It's insane.
dumb.
And when she's in combat with a monster, she counts as 10 models on objectives.
Oh, so she's like perfectly...
She super hates monsters.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds
Like a good way to beat BCR.
like a great way to beat BCR. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? There can only be one.
And apparently
What
it's
you
mine.
gotta do.
Cool.
Maryland Open? No?
Seattle's in July.
Sorry, Seattle. July.
Ooh, July's rough for me.
July.
July, the first week, I'm on pager duty, so I will not exist. I'm not even a human.
Oh, good to know.
Then sometime, either second or third week, I will be in Vancouver
Oh,
for work.
that's...
But not working. We're just going collectively. We will be working in Vancouver. And then my birthday is the last week of July.
Oh,
Yeah, in it.
in it?
Yeah,
And you
in it.
don't want to play Warhammer for your birthday?
I don't want to be traveling on my birthday. Traveling to Seattle? It's all cloudy and rainy there and sad all the time.
Yeah, it is actually.
I cannot
Historically sad
be
place.
in Seattle. Like, that place will destroy me.
That's fair. On that note, it's been a lovely, good talk. Lots of stuff coming up, of course, on the channel. We have Saturday. Do join us. We're going to be doing some GSC for some Iron Hands. Kind of closing it out before we continue to do some more wacky, wild stuff. We've got narrative things going on next week, so join us for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you all so much for hanging out. We'll catch you all next time on the Tabletop. Bye.